would have thought death would be this hilarious? Please hear me out.
Did you see it? Did you see it? Always remember. Did you see it? Did you see it? Choose to die for.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It must just be so gratifying to be able to be living on an earth filled with emotions and love and loss and death and everything else that exists in it. Jesus Christ, I'm starting to sound just like the people who run Death Clock. Especially with the amount of craziness that we've been dealing with, we might as well start looking at it as an excuse to just laugh, because otherwise you're gonna cry. And unfortunately, that is not really what you want to have happen. I mean, half the time, whenever I'm looking at something, I just have to laugh because I'm just gonna move on. Speaking of moving on, did you see a brutally twisted concoction of violence, mayhem, awesomeness, comedic value, and death through the eyes of a toy monkey, but you know you shouldn't call it a toy, the monkey. Written and directed by the same guy who gave us Long Legs and produced by the man who gave us Saw. Based on the short story by the horror legend himself, Stephen King. But can this crazy amalgamation of absolute depravity and insanity really be all that it's worth? Or is it better for us to just do a WSAD and say goodbye to this disturbing piece of cinema? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't think I have ever laughed in the face of death more than I have in this film. The entire premise of it is so fucking insane that you would swear that you were consuming the same amount of drugs that the writer did when he came up with this concept. And especially since it was done by the same guy who gave us one of the most twisted ways that Nicolas Cage has ever appeared on film, that's saying something. Even then, when you have got a crazy concept like this, you need to make sure that you know exactly what it is that you're doing. You can decide if you want it to be a serious melodramatic drama or whether you want it to be a batshit psychological horror. But I think honestly what they did, they just got very, very drunk one night and decided Stephen King made Maximum Overdrive. Why don't we try our hand at something in his vocabulary? And honestly, it works. From the writing, from the directing, from the cinematography, especially the cameos that are in this. The cameos that are in this are like little sprinklings of Easter eggs that you would not be expecting at this time of year. Right from the get-go, you know exactly what type of film you're dealing with. It opens up as this somber, disturbing piece, makes you think that there's going to be massive crime scenes involved and all of that. No, it completely jumps the shark in the best way possible. The deaths that are in this are so fucked up that you probably will never see anything like it again. I mean, sure, you could probably look at something like a pool, electricity, someone's just gonna get electrocuted and that's gonna be it. No. I was watching this in a crowd full of people and every single person was having a blast. There were a couple of people who were next to me saying, what in the fuck am I watching? You gotta laugh. Because if you don't laugh, then you take it too seriously and then it loses its entire premise of what you are there for. It is a movie that you just need to turn your brain off and say, you know what, I'm gonna go along with it. Even especially since it has one moment in it right towards the end that is so insane that you think that you put on the wrong movie and yet you look at it and think this actually does work. It makes sense as to why it's there. I want to just go back and read the short story because I guarantee Stephen King probably would not have wanted it to turn out the way that it did. Or maybe he did. He's a very messed up individual anyway. But he's making money, so at least that's something. There's subtle foreshadowing in this that is so damn well done that it really takes the cake. In terms of its death scenes, it is masterclass in terms of the way that they've done their practical effects and the gore and everything else about it. As if Osgood spoke to James Wan and he's like, I want to be able to make this movie. Any chance we can maybe throw some of the stuff that made me the big director that I am today? And he's like, yeah, man. Do you see that pink elephant in the room as well? Yeah. Who are you again? It is so batshit insane. You have to smile the same way that the monkey does. The basic premise is simply that there is a cursed object that is part of it. So if you wanted to think of something that is along the lines of Final Destination, by jumping the shark, having a lot of comedic value that's to it, guaranteed you're going to have yourself a great time. Because if you don't, then there's no point in seeing it. I will say the only big problem that I had with it is that there were a few moments where the tone kind of shifted a little bit, but it does quickly pick itself back up. The big thing I have a problem with is it's so short. It's only an hour and 38 minutes, and it felt like a lot of it could have been able to add a little bit extra in. Like, if we decide to see an extended cut, I would love to be able to see all of the crazy going-ons that happened in the town, while the main actors were trying to be able to figure out exactly what it is that they were going to do to rectify the situations that were happening. I can't really say anything bad about it, because if I did, I would have to lift up my hand, and once that hand goes down, guaranteed, whatever the score is, it is certainly going to be a good one. Now, I always like to end my reviews with a quote from the film, and my favorite quote was... Can't say it out loud. No, I'm not on drugs. Why, you got any? No, seriously, don't do drugs, okay? We need to make like eggs and scramble. You know when you see it. But that being said, did you see it? Will you see it? And if so, let me know in the comments. Until then, I've been DJ, and always remember, did you see it? Well, guys, it was a quick one today, but I will say this very, very plainly. I want to say a massive, massive thank you, because you guys have gotten me to 100 subscribers. We have reached triple digits, and you are definitely making the stuff that I do important. Because honestly, yeah, we might be dealing with a lot of problems when it comes to this world. We're in 2025, and it still seems to be like a lot of shit is going wrong. But the main important thing is to know that we are still here, and we're still enjoying it as best we can, no matter how batshit insane it gets. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.